Hello, welcome to another episode of Houston Art Tribe. I am Kay Sarver, and I am sitting here today with Harold Joyner, and I am very excited to be here, honestly.
Thank you.
We're here at Archway Gallery, which is where your current show is at the moment. What's the title of it?
The title of the show is Colors of a Place.
And I know a little bit about this, but and I was going to actually have us go in a different direction at first about your background a little bit. And I do believe you said you're from New Mexico?
Yes, I was born and grew up in New Mexico, but I went to college in the state of Texas. I went to Texas Tech, and when I graduated from Texas Tech in 1972, yes, way back in 1972.
You do have history here.
Yes. The place to go then with an architecture degree was Houston, which was, as you know, in the 70s was just an architectural laboratory.
Oh, yeah. No zoning laws and all that.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Well, it added a richness to your work. You can see, I mean, you wouldn't have to know that about you, but because I know that about you, I can see that in some of these. They almost look like topo maps.
Yes, right. And some of them, like the one over there, you know, is clearly a plan.
Yeah,
an architectural plan.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. Well, let's just get into it, and then, if we want to go in another direction, we can. But,
okay.
So, what inspired this show?
Well, it's in large part a tribute or an homage, if you will, to my native state. As I said, you know, I grew up there, but I've never lived there as an adult. And then, you know, the loss of family members over the years to the point that I'm the last one in the family still living. Has kind of rekindled some memories of the place and some memories of childhood things that happened and experiences that I had with the family. I grew up at a time when we're talking about in the 50s, and the interstate highway was being built, and the other highways were being widened, and traveling, family vacations by car were kind of the norm. I mean, everybody did that.
Yeah, I remember.
And so, we visited all of the ancient sites in New Mexico and Arizona and Colorado. And visiting those places, I think, instilled in me a love for the ancient aspects of the culture of the region.
You can really see that it made an impression on you, and you didn't need to live there all those years, but it's amazing how, as children, things can sink in more than we know. But I love that. So the color palette is just striking. It's just beautiful. I think of these of that area myself when I see these. Is that?
Well, as I said, speaking to some people, on the opening night reception, it isn't just the colors of the land, because if we talk about the colors of a place, people will talk about the beautiful sand colors and the earth colors, and those are there, but more specifically I was concerned about the colors in my memory, my sensory ideas about the place, and the rich cultural, historical milieu that is there, and the colors that can be drawn from that.
Definitely.
So if one talks about the American Southwest and asks somebody to talk about the colors of the place, they're going to start with the colors of the land probably, and one of them that they'll eventually get to a color is turquoise.
Oh, yeah.
That color will always be there, and it's because it has a deeply historical and cultural association. You know, if it's not the actual stone itself, it's the color. It's just the absolute color applied as a pigment or a dye or, you know, in any other surface treatment.
So true. I mean, you see that color going way back into history, archaeology, the native peoples of these lands revered those colors, and so that's...
And that color also has significance to me, because the time when I grew up was in the 50s, and if you will remember, if you're old enough to remember that, do you remember that appliances were available in Harvest Gold or Bronze Tone or I think they called it Copper Tone, I think is what they called it.
Yeah.
And eventually they were also available in turquoise.
Turquoise, pink even.
And pink. But the turquoise, and I remember, you know, in the sometime in the 50s, I had a rich uncle in the family who was a very successful businessman, and one of the things he did was buy 2 new cars for every other year, and he would buy one for himself and one for his wife. And I remember I think it was 1956, he bought 2 new Lincoln coupes for himself.
And they were turquoise?
And hers was banana yellow and his was turquoise.
Oh my gosh.
And I'm telling you, that
funny.
color of turquoise is still in my brain.
I understand that. I mean, even growing up north where I did, my father bought an old Chevy that was turquoise. You know, a big heavy metal thing, and that was a popular color back
So the
then.
colors of the place, you know, kind of pervaded, you know, they spread out into the culture, you know, because I don't think that turquoise color didn't come from the Northeast or any place else like that.
No, that's interesting. Well, I also love too, I mean, that some of these, they look like sacred places.
Well, some of them are sacred places. You know, if you look at those paintings over there, for example, those are paintings from a trip I made to Chaco Canyon in late 2018. As I said, we visited a lot of the ancient sites in New Mexico, Colorado, and Arizona, but we didn't go to Chaco Canyon, and that's partly because Chaco Canyon was not open to visitors. It wasn't a national park until 1980. So in the years when I was going there, it was open only to archaeological researchers associated with universities and the government. So I couldn't go there, but it's always been a place of interest to me. I was so inspired by that visit to Chaco Canyon that when I came back and on into the next year of 2019 and was starting to get ready to paint for this scheduled exhibition, I was thinking about what I wanted to say and what theme I wanted to build the show around. And I thought, I'm going to do a whole show about Chaco Canyon. And I started to paint, and I did several paintings that are devoted to Chaco Canyon. And I suddenly got the feeling that maybe that was too narrow. Have kind of a passion or a love for tromping through the ruins of places. Don't ask me what that's about, but it is just something I like.
I can understand that.
And so Chaco Canyon was always on my bucket list. Has been for many years. And so I finally got to go there in late 2018. And I resolved that it would be at least a part of, you know, my next exhibition. So I think those pieces combine very well with the others.
I'm so glad you went in 2018 before things got crazy.
Yes, that's right. So that's when I began to think about what I could do with the landscape. And even though I've painted the landscape literally in the past,
Yes.
tending towards realism. I didn't want to do that this time. I wanted to paint more, I wanted to paint more the inspiration of it, my overall impression of it. You know, how I think about the landscape sort of in design terms.
Yeah.
And so...
And also just your feelings
and
about it.
feelings about it.
Because that pulled off well. And just the way you intertwined sort of that abstract element into what oh gosh, that's a landscape, I'm sure it is, but you left that sort of a mystery to some degree with the abstract part of
right.
it. So I love how you did that so successfully, I think.
So when I thought about the landscape there, I thought, what is it that appeals to me, that what is it in design terms and that comes up for me when I think about the landscape there? I thought that, well, for one thing, it's very horizontal. That's the nature of it. It's very, very horizontal. It's vast. It's, it's
vast.
wide. It goes on forever.
Totally.
And frequently as we stand there and look at it, it unfolds before us in successive waves.
Yes.
And so you can see some paintings here, for example, that demonstrate that very well. When you stand in the mountains and you just see them unfolding layer after layer after layer.
Yeah, and the road in the distance,
Right.
cars.
Right.
I love that. Yeah, it's beautiful, Harold.
So that's what I wanted that's kind of what I wanted to say about the landscape.
Good, I'm glad, and so this show, how long is it up?
This show is up through December 2nd, and the gallery is open Tuesday through Saturday, 10 to 6, and Sunday afternoons, 1 to 5.
Okay, great. You still got plenty of time to get out and see this show, and it's so worth it. I think, I just want to talk a little bit about, how I met you, because I just love this memory. And I used to be a member of Archway Gallery, and I think you came in 2010, was it, or 2011?
2012.
2012. So you came the same year I left.
Yeah,
It was really close, wasn't it?
We only overlapped by a few months.
I guess we did.
You left shortly after I came.
Yes, that's right. And Harold.
And I took your job.
You did an excellent job. I mean, all along, it's just been amazing to see the shows that have been put on. You and Andrea Wilkinson.
Yes, my co-curator.
You both deserve high accolades for that.
Yeah, but it's a tribute to you that it took two people to replace you.
Oh no, I had Andrea. Yeah, we had worked together too. Oh,
okay.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a lot of work, and it still is, I'm sure, but you're doing a marvelous job. This gallery, how long has the gallery been in existence now? I think...
the gallery has been around for 45 years.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, this year was our 45th. We've toyed with the idea of having a celebration, but we decided to postpone that until things settled down with regards to the pandemic.
Yeah.
And it's been in this location for...
Oh, since 2008.
2008.
Yeah, we moved here in 2008. But yeah, it's just amazing to think that a gallery like this, artist-owned and artist-run, is working, and it's working so well. And I think it's like the oldest one in the state, isn't it? I might be
Well,
wrong
we
there.
think so. We like to say that about ourselves, that we're the oldest artist-owned.
Yeah, I think so.
We haven't found any other. We've looked and we haven't found another one. So
Well, it's really a testament.
So we'll claim that for ourselves.
Through all the difficulties. I know when we moved here, it was 2008, which was, of course, when everything was going wrong with market and housing, and people were, and so we were very scared moving here, but we needed to do it, so it was a...
Well, you had to move.
We had to move, yeah. Oh, yeah? Yeah.
That is a painting by my mother.
Oh my gosh. Oh, wow.
Many people have stood in, visitors.
It's very different from the others.
People have stood there and looked at it and go.
I actually wondered if it was something you did from younger.
There's a little blurb there that explains to them, what it is.
Yeah.
But unless they walk up and read that, they'll be startled.
People read too much.
But in rummaging through some things in the bins in my studio, I saw that painting and I was struck by the color palette of it.
Yeah.
And the fact that it's a New Mexico subject matter.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, yeah.
And so
Is she from there? Was she from there originally?
No, she was grew up in Oklahoma. But she, as a painter, she painted.
Family,
she painted the state, just like I've done here.
Yeah.
So I thought it was.
I'm glad you brought it up. It just adds another personal thing.
Yeah, I thought it was a personal touch to include that. Artistic talent, my proclivity to art was, he said, he got that gene from his mother.
Oh, sweet. Okay.
So what I said there in that blurb also is that she had a long career working for one of the local banks, and then when she retired, she started to paint.
Oh my gosh!
I had a long career in architecture,
and
I started to paint.
See, we have a lot of friends who jumped that, and still work in both camps, the architectural camp and the artist camp.
Right.
It makes sense. It's
we have another architect member of Archway Gallery. There have been others before the two of us, and
Sherry.
I have work colleagues from the past who are still painters.
Yeah, it's funny. Yeah, it's really it's an art form, definitely, totally. But it's been a pleasure to have been here with you.
Thank you, Kay. Thanks for the visit. I really appreciate it.
I wanted to do this. It's been so long since I've done one of these, and I can't see a better way to open it up again a little.
Great.
And say goodbye to the viewers, and thanks for watching. And until next time. Bye.